Hi friends, we are from Bannariyamman Institute of Technology studying Electronics and Instrumentation Engineering. We are here to present about FM transmitters.
So, what do you know about transmitters? Fine. After modulation, the radio waves are transmitted over a long distance with the help of electronic circuit called transmitters. The simplest form of transmitter consists of oscillator, a generating high frequency wave connected to an antenna. In this session, we shall discuss the frequency modulation transmitters.
FM transmitter. The FM transmitter is a low power transmitter and it uses FM waves for transmitting the sound. The transmitter transmits the audio signal through the carrier wave by the difference of frequency. The carrier wave frequency is equivalent to the audio signal of the amplitude, and the FM transmitter produces very high frequency band of 88 to 108 MHz.
Now we can see the block diagram of FM transmitters. The frequency modulation system operates usually the frequency about 40 MHz. Frequency modulated broadcasting is done in television, sound, mobile radios, etc. The functional block diagram of FM transmitter is shown. If a crystal oscillator produces a carrier wave and the output of this is fed into a phase modulator, the buffer is a low frequency amplifier which isolates a crystal oscillator from a phase modulator. The modulating signal is produced from a microphone. Since this AF modulating signal has uneven power, it is fed into a network called pre-emphasis network, where all the frequencies in a modulating signal are made to have equal powers. The output of the pre-emphasis network is then amplified and sent to phase modulation. The modulated output is then power amplified using a power amplifier and then fed into a transmitting antenna or transmission. Now we will discuss this three sessions in detail. First, the exciter.
The function of a carrier oscillator is to generate a stable sine wave signal at the rest frequency. When no modulation is applied, it must be able to linearly change frequency when fully modulated with no measurable change in amplitude. The buffer amplifier acts as a constant high impedance load on the oscillator to help stabilize the oscillator frequency. The buffer amplifier may have a small gain.
The modulator acts to change the carrier oscillated frequency by the application of message signal. The positive peak of the message signal generally lowers the oscillator frequency to a point below the rest frequency, and the negative message peak raises the oscillator frequency to the value above the rest frequency. The greater the peak to peak message signal, the larger the oscillation deviation. The second, frequency multiplier.
Frequency multiplier are tuned input. Tuned output RF amplifier in which the output resonant circuit is tuned to a multiple of the input frequency. Common frequency multipliers are 2x, 3x and 4x multiplication. The 5x frequency multiplier is sometimes seen, but its extreme low frequency forbids widespread usage. Note that multiplication is by whole numbers only. It can not be a 1.5x multiplier, for instance.
Then finally the third session, power output section. The final power section develops the carrier power to be transmitted and often has a low power amplifier driven the final power amplifier. The impedance matching network is the same as for the AM transmitter and matches an antenna impedance to a correct load on final over amplifier. Okay, fine. Then at last application. Personal FM transmitters are commonly used as a workaround for playing portable audio device on car radios that don't have auxiliary input jack or Bluetooth audio connectivity. They are also used to broadcast a stationary audio source like a computer or a television around home. Thank you, friends.
If you would like this video, please subscribe and share.